views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the hosts and guests. All individuals mentioned are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Hello, welcome back to Moms for Justice. I always press that. I am Carolyn, and this is my beautiful co-host Jocelyn, who's still on mute. So unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes, there you are. There you are. So
I'm like, go ahead.
You're so excited, right?
I am.
It's finally here.
This is me. So excited.
Yes. How's everybody doing out there?
Karen was like, "Don't forget to listen today at work." I'm like, "Oh yeah." I beefed up my AirPods and I was good to go.
Yeah, and she was cleaning teeth. She was cleaning teeth. So she can't watch because she works.
Yeah.
Well, I work. This is my job. So I got up today. Oh, I'm from Tennessee too. Raise the road. I'm from Tennessee. That's really awesome. Oh, by the way, like the video. Make sure you guys are liking this video. Okay, so I got up at 6:45, 7 o'clock today. I had set up my coffee maker so that my pot was ready to go, right? I brewed my coffee. I stayed in like jammies pretty much. Got my notes going, got my laptop open, turned on the trial and started. And I was like riveted from the beginning all the way through to lunch. And some of you already know that I was on for lunch today. That was really fun. I've never done that before. And it was really cool to talk to some of you. So I appreciate you joining me on that. And then, of course, I took a ton of notes for after lunch. And after lunch is really the best part of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. It really is. It was so good. And for me, the star witness of the day was actually not Wendi. It was Robert Adelson, So I don't know. How about for you?
Because I was listening. I didn't get to see him. I think he sounds a lot like Charlie. And I was kind of a little surprised about that. I don't know why it didn't occur to me, but I was like, oh wow, they really have almost like the same voice.
And he looks a little bit like Charlie Robert. And then he also looks like his dad, Harvey.
Oh, really?
But I will say, just my heart broke for him. Like, that's why you got to watch it also visually, Lynn, when you get a chance. Because, I mean, he had this sweetness about him. It was absolutely heartbreaking. And just this dynasty family just being like totally torn apart. And here he is up there seeing his mother for the first time. And I'm going to talk about the expressions on Donna's face for Wendi as opposed to Robert. We're going to get into that. But I do want to start with a little tidbit I learned today on watching a little bit of Carl Steinbeck, because I love Carl Steinbeck's videos. And I had him on live also while I was watching. And John, his brother, was in the courtroom and he was giving us like the goodies on what was going on in between.
Okay.
And he said, okay, so Wendi was there today and on Friday too. Wendi was there with her friend Morgan Honeycutt, and she is like this bulldozing bodyguard looking woman. She's an attorney also.
Okay.
From what I know, I think she's an attorney, but she is like this like big blonde bulldozer looking woman that has gone with Wendi to like almost like she's like her protector and sits with her. But the funny thing I learned today is that every time Wendi went to the bathroom at the courthouse,
she went with her.
She stood at the door and wouldn't let any other ladies go in. I was just like, what? I'm like, yeah, like she's her like
such
bodyguard.
Privilege.
I know, right? Okay, so here is it's blurry, but here's a picture of them sitting in the courthouse on Friday, and she even has her hand on her lap, like, like it's like just funny.
Support. It's support.
Yeah. Well, I don't have the other picture, but from the last trial, she had like this really nasty look on her face. And not only that, another thing I just want you guys to know is that this time on this trial, she didn't just come with Morgan Honeycutt. She came with like this entourage of people. She had like 8 or 9 people circling around her.
Wow.
Yeah. So I guess she
wanted a barrier.
Right.
I bet people approach her all the time though, especially in a
Wendi,
courthouse.
yeah.
So she probably just doesn't know how to say, sorry, I can't speak about it,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think she's probably tired of saying that, but really
Anyway,
8 or 9 people.
I know. It's totally a lot. Yeah. Okay. So before we start, I'm going to go through all my notes. I took the most intricate, amazing notes today. So I know everything that went on. So if you did not see the trial, I'm going to go through all the good stuff with you. And so that Jocelyn listened in case you're just joining also. Right. I want to say, give Jocelyn a chance. I know some of you are very weary about being on the podcast portion of this channel because you're upset with Jocelyn for some things she has said. But I think Lynn is turning a new leaf. I think that she could possibly shift her opinion, and that's what we all need to help her do. So she's also my best friend, so I'm not going to just boot her off and get another co-host. It's not going to happen. So
listen, I mean, there's a lot of new evidence that came out today, or at least I don't know about evidence, but a lot of new things that we didn't hear about before that kind of makes Wendy's case in a sense, I mean, as in against her. So again, I've always said I just don't feel that there's enough on her to convict her. So as more things surface and if more things come to surface or come to fruition, then hey, I'm all for it.
You can't handle the truth.
That's what I got to say to you. It just means you can't handle the truth. The truth is that Wendi is guilty.
There is no truth. There is no truth yet.
I feel she's guilty. I believe in circumstantial evidence that's piled high like a huge mountainous amount. That's what I feel.
I need more.
So, but let's try not to fight if we can hold it. We can hold it back, hold back the arguments. Okay, so I already talked about this morning. So I probably won't go so much into that. I'm going to go in after lunch. Okay. So while Wendy's on the stand, she was asked about Charlie right after lunch. Okay. And she spoke a lot about it. She also said she confirmed that Charlie's lifestyle was him being single, dating lots of women, working really hard, but also playing hard. And that was the first time she confirmed that because in previous trials, she acted like, I don't know what Charlie does. Right?
Yeah,
she was very much, she said that all the time.
Blase,
and now,
and
I think Wendi was way more careful this time. I think she had the mindset of, wait a minute, they're looking to find these inconsistencies. They're looking for me to commit perjury, right?
I think that she actually practiced. I think this is the first time I think she's ever practiced because she was very careful in her words, and answered the questions without giving anything else. Like she really was. I think she practiced this time.
And I think she had a hard time. I think she was reluctantly answering questions. She knew, gosh, I'm going to have to answer it this time. And I did not last time. And if I don't, I'm going to get in even more hot water. That's what I think.
Right.
Okay.
I also think that she did a lot of I don't remember, which in essence is good for Georgia because it allows her to just, it just brings in the evidence again verbally, as opposed to them going back to as opposed to the jurors going back to reading it. So, but I really think it's also a way for Wendi just to reiterate that it's been 11 years. Who remembers this stuff? You know what I mean?
True. And I think but I do think she did a little bit of her, what I feel is like her workaround on the questions, but she didn't do it as much this time as she has done on the last time.
Right. Which is why I think she practiced.
Right. And let me tell you this too. I think she was a whole different human being today. And if you had visually seen it, Jocelyn, she walked in. Actually, you know what? I have her walking in. I'm going to play that. I wanted to pull just that up. I know that's really weird. It might sound weird, but watch Donna's face because Donna has not seen Wendi in so long. And then notice when the camera goes on Wendi, Wendy's like, I don't like you anymore, Mom. That's the impression I got with this. Okay, so let's take a quick look at that.
Let's take a look. Well,
all right.
And she did say she hasn't seen her mom, or actually not seen, but she hasn't spoken to her mom since November 23.
Right. I know. Very long time. So, okay, just take a look at this clip here, okay, of her walking into the courtroom for the first time and watch Donna.
Look, her friend's there. Watch
her. There she is. Okay, watch.
Good morning. If you can just take your seat for right now, I will swear you in when the jurors re-enter the room.
Aww.
I don't feel bad for her. I don't feel bad for her.
She's so happy to see her.
But you're right. I mean, her golden child. This is her golden child.
The jurors indicated they did not have to go to the bathroom at this point. If we are once again dealing with the needs of 14 people, they might be in the bathroom. So
I'm going to say something about that in a second. But there she is. There is my pearl, my oyster. Yeah. I love her so much, right? And then watch. There it is. Look at her. She's like, I don't want to know you. I am angry. I am upset. Look what you've put me through. Blah, 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 blah. Right? And she actually never makes eye contact with her until she's asked to identify her mother.
Right.
It's fun.
I just thought that was interesting. But
maybe she does believe. I think she might believe her mom isn't on it. And maybe she's upset at her mom.
No.
And she's like, how could you do this?
No, because Wendi is responsible as well. She is mad that her mother is about to railroad her. And it does happen a little bit. She does railroad her a little bit.
Well, I have to say that was new with the lawyer kind of like steering it towards her. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. And she looks hardened to me. Like she looks like she's been through a lot compared to the last ones.
Actually, I thought she looked pretty good. I mean, last time she was on the stand was 3 years ago. She looks, I don't know. I don't know why I was expecting her to look older, but she looks actually kind of good.
Yeah. Well, she is. I'm not going to be that person to tear her down just because I think she's guilty. I do think she's a beautiful woman, but I do think she looks a little different. Some people have said she might have had some work done. It does look like she's got some filler going on. The eyebrows are a little different. Whatever. I'm not going to tear a woman down. That's fine. If that's what makes you feel better, then that's great. But I do think there's an aura about her of her not getting sleep at night, maybe having, and it's not just because we know that. It just looks it to me. You know, I don't know.
Well, who agrees with me? I do think she has more stress on her than when she was in the trial with Katie, or when she was in trial with Sigfredo, right? Sigfredo? Sigfredo, right? Or even with Charlie. I think there's definitely more on her shoulders now because it's her mom, and because it's really pointing towards her now. Yeah, definitely. So I just wanted to point that out. But she is a beautiful woman, no doubt about it. That that doesn't change just because many of us think she's guilty. So anyway, she back on to Charlie. She was talking about Charlie after the lunch and saying that he plays hard, and that was something new for her to say because last time she was like, I don't know what he does. I don't know what he does in his spare time. She confirmed that Charlie did not like Dan. She admitted that he joked about the hitman, of course. She said that this time this was new. I may have told Jeff about the joke, she said. Okay. All right. So then they went on to the appointment for the TV repair. Oh, and by the way, guys, we want to talk to you guys. So we're going to go back and go through some of your comments and talk to you guys in live chat, or you can save some of your better comments for a little later because we'll be taking questions and comments. All right. So about the TV repair, she said there were vertical lines on the TV. Same TV that her brother jokes about. And then Donna texted her that morning that they were on their way, and the Geek Squad was there for a whole hour.
Then she talked a little bit about the dinner where she vomited at a restaurant with Charlie after the murder. She confirmed that she met Katie twice, and they showed the picture of her with Katie and the other woman on the beach. They asked for some time without... Wait, hold on a second. What does my note say there?
Well, I just wanted to say real quick, she did vomit. I don't know if it's relevant, but they did go out to dinner a month later. It wasn't just like they were out to dinner right after the...
Right, but it was classified as a celebration dinner for the murder.
No, well, according to the prosecutor, but it was, if anything, it was a celebration for her to get out because she was in the house for a whole month. It was the first time she got out.
She told Jeff Lacasse that my brother took me out for a celebration dinner and then she threw up. So Jeff testified to that. That will be in Jeff's testimony, I believe, tomorrow, because I really do think he's next. But that's where she got it from. It's not like, you know what I mean? Just so you know the source.
That's what I'm saying. It was a celebration that she got out of the house because she didn't leave the house for a month.
Right. But if you believe Jeff, Wendi told Jeff that it was a celebration for the fact that Danny was gone.
No, I don't think so.
Well,
did Jeff actually say that?
Yes.
That he said it was that and if anything, I think Wendi said, didn't Wendi say that it was her brother that said this is a celebration dinner for your husband to be dead, right? What are you saying that Jeff said then?
Jeff said that Wendi told him that the dinner was to celebrate the murder of Dan Markel. And that she was so upset and so nervous, also because she hadn't, been out and seen her brother since this happened, that, she had a drink at the bar. Maybe she had two because, apparently, according to Jeff, she would crack one open quite a lot. She tried to act like she wasn't a drinker, but actually she does drink. And then she puked all over the table when she was finally sat down for dinner. So... if you believe Jeff, let's leave it at that. If you're somebody that believes Jeff, okay.
Let's see what he says.
Well, okay. Well, we know what he says because he has said it before, but we'll check his testimony again tomorrow. Okay. All right. So, at this point, Wendi was like blinking a lot in the scene. She was like, her eyes were blinking. She was breathing heavily at times. She was really having a hard time with this testimony this time around.
Breathing heavy? I don't remember breathing heavy.
Not like visually, like you could just see in her face. She was just like, mouth was parted and her eyes were all big and she was just blinking a lot.
Right. Yeah.
I could do my imitation of Wendi. But yeah. Okay. So then she lied again and was unclear about the turning on Trescott. That was really, she was confusing. She was confusing again. She claims that she went to the tape. This was today. She said, I went to the tape. But the tape was near Dan's house and she never said that she went down Trescott at first. She said that she couldn't turn down Trescott. She said that again. And I'm like, it's impossible for you to say that you went a mile down to the tape and then also say in the same breath that I couldn't turn down Trescott. I mean, in order to get to the tape, you would have had to turn down Trescott. So again, she lied and Georgia didn't go any further on it or get on her. And I think it's because she's holding on to this in case she does indict her. Because remember, with the derivative immunity, she has to be careful of how much she has her answer because whatever's being used, she has to be careful. So she heard just enough of an inconsistency or, which is her saying, I couldn't turn down Trescott. She said that today, but then said, I made it to the tape. Okay. And that gets proven at the end of the day when the cop who was at the tape testified at the end of the day today, confirming that she came down to the tape. So the jury already knows right now that she's a liar, right? Okay. No? Don't agree with me?
I'm just really trying to understand why would she say she couldn't turn down Trescott when you clearly have to go a mile? I'm just trying to think, like, what does she think turning down Trescott means? Like, does she think it a different way? Like, does she think like turning down Trescott means like going all the way through? I mean, that's just kind of weird to say that.
I think that she's sitting there with that question, and that's the one question that is probably one of the biggest pieces that could really like sink her. So it pains her to answer it because.
No, but she does commit. She does commit by saying she went down to the tape. So obviously, we all know it takes a mile to get to the tape. So she's saying, "Yes, I got to the tape," but that's what I'm saying.
She has to commit that she went to the tape because she knows there's a cop that's going to say she was at the tape. But in her questioning, she wants to make it sound like it wasn't a big deal. And I wish, Georgia had pointed out that with speed bumps and a mile long, that this is not a shortcut. It's just not. But maybe Georgia is saving that for later. Is my point.
It was a shortcut to like the big triangle. But regardless, what I'm saying is how do you admit you go all the way down to the tape and then don't admit that you turned on to Trescott? It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. So
I wish Georgia had just came back with one more question and said, okay, so you're saying you went down to the tape, so you did turn on Trescott, correct?
Right.
Let's
clarify that. Yeah.
Exactly. But she didn't. And a lot of people are like, well, there's a couple, why isn't Georgia asking this? Why isn't Georgia asking that? And I just got to believe that she knows what she's doing. And there's a lot of stuff that we don't know about, Okay, so WhatsApp. They started talking about WhatsApp. She said she used it for international contacts, okay? Doesn't remember using it with family unless they were out of the country. Then things got a little dicey on her answers, saying, I don't think so, a couple times. I don't think I spoke to anybody using WhatsApp. Then she started going into her old ways there about I don't think. And, she just wasn't clear. Then she talked about going to the liquor store, buying Bullet bourbon at 12:49 p.m. This is after. Yes. It was after going down Trescott, because we know she went down Trescott because she made it to the tape. And then she goes, maybe I got gas. The way she says it, maybe I got some gas. And then she went on her merry way to Mosaic for lunch. She said that, she talked about the being approached at Mosaic. Okay. I did make notes on that, but it looks like I'm out of order here because she also talked about, this is interesting. And to me, it's a piece of evidence for you. Okay. Remember when she left within 48 hours to immediately leave and go down to Miami with a weekender bag?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. She takes the kids and ends up going to Miami, right? Well, on the drive to Miami 48 hours later, she had already had her interview with Isom. Okay. She and her parents were driving and she gets a phone call from Detective Isom and all of a sudden it gets broken up. And even Georgia goes, oh, like one of those types of calls where it's like, I can't hear you anymore. Even she almost acted that out. And then they never spoke again. And she immediately, suited up with a lawyer.
Of course. It's like, she's a lawyer. And two, we've been doing crime for a year now. We always say, get a lawyer. Why are you talking to anybody without a lawyer?
True. But when you're only 48 hours into the father of your children being murdered and you're innocent, you're talking to everybody you can to help out because it looks really bad that look, without the phone call, I get that. But she took the call. She had said to him after the interview that she would speak with him. And I guess maybe he saw her at the funeral and said something about we need to speak. And then she's like, sure. And then he calls her. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I have bad reception, whatever. And then it goes dead. The phone goes dead. She doesn't even call back and said, I'm sorry, we got disconnected. Nothing like that. And then all of a sudden, Isom hears from her attorney. I think that looks pretty bad.
No, I think she's smart. And I say this about all the crime victims we talk about, like, get a lawyer, stop talking. I say it all the time. It's not just Wendi. I would say I would say to anybody, like, stop talking. She did speak to them for like 6 hours straight. And and she gave up and all her rights to her phone, her car, her computer. I mean, she did everything she had to do. And she's a lawyer. You lawyer up.
Okay. All right. Well, I think a little different. Like, I could see eventually, like the Ramseys, Patsy and John Ramsey tried to help out. They were giving the heat to them. And then eventually they they lawyered up. And, but my first instinct would always be, if I'm innocent, is, oh my gosh, I'm going to do everything I can to help these people. I wouldn't be thinking a lawyer. I didn't do anything wrong. But her behavior about having the call get disconnected, I just think is really, really telling.
So actually, to prove your point about Wendi, so you know how we always say,
Wendi. Wendi.
You know how we always say, I always say, like, you should lawyer up, but people who are guilty never really lawyer up because they want to look innocent. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Wait,
so now
you're saying they don't lawyer up because they want to look innocent,
right? But then again, Wendi did lawyer up really quick, so maybe she's not so innocent.
Okay, now that's really a deep thought. Remember the deep thoughts on Saturday Night Live? Like deep thought. Really, I am not going there. Okay, that's a little too deep. Okay, so anyway.
That was your point for Wendi. Hello, I was giving you a point.
Yeah, but the broken call really bothers me, man. She could have called right back and be like, I'm so sorry, we got disconnected. And she didn't do that. And the next thing you know, within hours, he gets a call from her lawyer. You know what I mean? He was like, she never called me back. Yeah. All right, we're starting to ramble.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Let's get to our next point.
All right.
Oh,
so
real quick, I wanted to go back to what you were saying about the TV. Remember you were...
about the vertical lines?
Right, but Jackie, the defense
Fulford,
lawyer.
yeah.
Right. So I don't know. I think she was talking to Rob, unless you're going to bring it up later. I'm not Rob. I don't know who she was talking to because I was listening, but she was saying how.
Well, I didn't get to Fulford yet, so don't blow anything about Fulford yet.
All right, so I'll wait.
Can you wait for Fulford? Yeah. We're just talking about Georgia and Wendi right now. Okay, so she said that she did not feel safe in Tallahassee after the murder, and we all knew that. That was nothing new. So, Georgia had Wendi read text messages out loud that she presented to her on a piece of paper. And they were not marked who they were. Like, it didn't say this person, person. It didn't do any of that. So she handed it to her, and there was a quote in there that said, "So happy I don't live here anymore." And then the other person writes back, yeah, like it was like I didn't write that down, but the response was like, yeah, it was a dump or a piece of crap city anyway. And she acted like, she said, do you remember saying that? She's like, just kind of like evasive about it. And then she's like, well, do you know who that is you're talking to? And she was like, no. And she goes, would that be surprising to you to know that is a message between you and Charlie Adelson right after, you leaving and going back to Miami? So just another supportive piece of information to prove that she did not want to be in Tallahassee ever. Because she did say in the last couple trials that I didn't have a problem with Tallahassee in the end. I was getting used to it, that kind of thing, which is a bunch of BS. BS.
And she was gonna buy that house, but she never got the money from Dan.
And then Charlie convinced her not to buy it too. You know why Charlie convinced her not to buy the house? Because he knew that Dan Markel was going to be murdered. Right?
Right.
So, all right. The changing of her sons' names. The older son's middle name. All that was confirmed. Georgia Kappelman asked about an email with an Evite to her father's 70th birthday party hosted by Donna.
Wait, you forgot to talk about not only did they change the name, but when they went to school, she kept their right. Did I hear it right? Where when the kids did actually go to school, they were registered under Adelson, but they were known as Markels.
That was the next paragraph on my list.
Oh, was it?
I didn't get there, but yes.
You were just talking about name changes. Okay.
Yeah, that was the subject of the next paragraph of notes. So yes, she confirmed that she changed her son's last names and the older son's middle name, which I think was like a salute to Dan Markel's uncle or father, grandfather, something like that. Just so cruel to take away.
So she took out the middle name that was supposed to be for a relative that passed away on Dan's side.
Yeah, that was his middle name. I don't know if he had passed away, but it's a middle name, a homage to a relative. It was like I think it was a Jewish name, and she took it away. So then she asked about Okay, then she asked, for some reason, I went from this to this. She asked about an email about the evite to the father's birthday, which was hosted by Donna. She was originally trying to be like, well, that, who did that come from, that evite? And she goes, well, sometimes I did the evites for my mother, kind of a thing. But at the end of the day, they're like, who's hosting the event? And she's like, my mother, Donna. And this was sent beforehand. And then another email later showed that the name had been changed to Adelson in September 2014 of the child because of enrolling in the school. So on paperwork, it remained Markel. But socially, the names of the boys became Adelson. Okay? But this happened right away when she, in previous testimonies, said, no, I didn't change those names for at least a year. Well, that's BS, okay? Because it's not. She did it right away in September of 2014.
It just wasn't legal.
No, it wasn't legal, but she didn't make it sound like the boys were ever going by any other name but Markel until a year later. But socially, they were going as Adelson right away within a month.
Right. No, we assume that. But she literally answered the question correctly. But that's
I love this one. This was new to me. This one was a big one for me today. Dan was buried in Canada. Did you go? Did you bring the boys to his funeral, to his burial? No. Why would you not do that?
I'm so glad that you did not know that was a new fact for you, because as I was listening to it, I'm like, did I miss that? Did they not go to his funeral?
No.
That's so bad.
There was a lot of things that were asked that we found out about today that we didn't know before.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let me tell you something. That's pretty bad. That is so damning. I immediately thought to myself, I would love to see the jury's face right now. And you know what? Georgia, and I'm just stopping in the middle of this for a second. Georgia did a masterful job today. She was calm, collected, and to the point and moved through this story. It was so easy to understand because it is such a complicated story with so many twists and turns. And I've thought to myself sometimes when we sign on and talk about the Adelson Markel case, I'm like, oh, I've got to go over a recap in like 4 or 5 sentences. And I'm like, oh, I got to fit that all into the Hitman. And then there's Katie McBanawan. She used to date Charlie, and Charlie was, encouraged by Donna, and you have to go through all this stuff. It is not easy to deliver this story to people that don't know it.
It's also her 5th trial on this same subject. She's probably so sick of asking the same questions.
Right. Exactly. But you know what? I felt she was stronger, and she added some more things in there. So it was really great. So, excuse me. Got a cough.
And they also said something like that she had pictures, there was more pictures. Did she have pictures or easier to find? Okay,
so the slideshows were brilliant because
slideshows.
If you remember in the last trial and the one before that,
Charlie's?
she did have thick books. She did have thick books with tabs where Wendi did go to some of them today. Right. But for the most part, what I loved about Georgia this time was that she would ask a question and then that slide would appear up on the big screen and she'd go, do you see right there? And she'd point to it. So she didn't even have to say, oh, go to this line on this page. It was brilliant. It was amazing.
She probably had more money to put towards it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But what I loved about it is that the slides, which are basically the answers to the questions that Wendi has to say were appearing on the screen before Wendi could even answer. I mean, she was like, boom, boom, boom. Okay, I got to answer that the right way. Oh, okay, I got to tell the truth on that one. You know what I'm saying? It was so incredible. It really was. And it was just bravo to her, applause. I'm so thrilled with her performance. For real.
I heard that the slides were really well distributed and displayed. It was easy for the jurors to follow along. It was good.
Well, after 11 years, it better be, right?
Well, the district probably gave her more money so she can prep. That's what it comes down to.
It doesn't. you don't need money to put up slideshows. I just think that it was just 11 years. What can we do better? How can we make this perfect, more perfect? And it's just, you better get it right if it's been 11 years. And she's doing it. So I'm just so happy. So next question she asked her was, when was the last time you spoke to your mother, Donna? She said November 2023. And that was had to be a big one for the jury to hear that. Wow, it's been that long. So she said that Donna offered advice on how to behave in court back in October of 2023. So the last time she talks to her is in November, okay? And that's when Charlie's trial happened. And that's when, according to Wendi, she found out that her mother and brother were really involved in this. The month before that, she was getting ready to come and testify for Charlie. And she admitted that Donna told her, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to say, and this is how you need to act. So damning. I mean, it's a big thing today that was said, that she was trying to manipulate her daughter to favor Charlie, and to take Charlie's side. So Donna thought Wendi wasn't being supportive of Charlie, and that's pretty much what came across with that. Right. So, she at one point said, did you provide any information? And Wendi said, I don't think so. She goes, I don't think so. Yeah, you know the answers. She claimed she had no idea that they were going to murder Dan. She said that the Hitman TV joke was just a joke, and she never took it seriously. She was asked, was it planned so she'd be shielded from the plot? And she said no. Yeah. Then she was asked, why did you tell Isom that you were worried you might be a suspect? And she said, because divorced people, or the ex-wife or the wife is usually the first suspect.
Or the parent of a missing child. It's always the closest relative.
Absolutely true. That's one thing I agree with Wendi on. She answered that correctly today. And then Georgia goes, you mentioned that you could be a suspect 9 times in your interview, which is a little overkill. Like, it's saying
over 6 hours. Yeah.
I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. That's what that screams to me. She's very worried here. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Here's the Mosaic thing. I found it because I guess I took the note later. So when approached at Mosaic, okay, I love this. When approached at Mosaic, when she was having lunch with her friends after the murder, she was approached at Mosaic. She was not told of the shooting. Police told her in the car, your ex was shot. But if I remember correctly, they tell her for the first time in the interview, I thought. And that's when she goes, oh my gosh. Do you remember?
I would have to go back to the interview. No, I don't remember that.
I meant to pull that up for the show.
And I know that today, today when she was on the stand, she did say they told her in the car.
I would love to confirm this.
That he was. Oh yeah, they did. That he got shot. Right? But didn't they tell her in the interrogation room that he is in intensive care and that he's most likely going to die?
We're going to have to pull it up today. Yeah. On this podcast, unless somebody can answer the question for me, so I don't have to pull it up, because I literally, if I'm not mistaken, that she was sitting there in anticipation, not knowing what was going on, and he said, "Okay, Danny's been shot," and then she went, "Oh my God." So she told them today on the stand that she was not told of the shooting at Mosaic, but in the police car, he said, your ex was shot. Did anyone else catch that? That's what I want to know. Get back to me. If you don't, I'm going to pull it up and we're going to debunk it or whatever. So, Did she suggest her parents could be angry enough to kill Dan? She said yes. She said yes.
Oh, I missed that.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the interview in the first 20 minutes, the first person she mentions is Charlie, and then she says my family.
Oh, you talking about the interview? I thought you were on stand today. She said that.
Right. But a lot of people associate that confession about it being her family as like being associated with Charlie, because she brings up Charlie's name first. But she wanted to just answer that question and get it on the record today and say, did you suggest that your parents were angry enough to kill Dan? And she said, yes. Okay. Christine said he did not tell her in the car. Well, today on the stand, She said the police told her in the car that your ex was shot. So I'm confused. Okay. So then in the interview, she said that Wendi, was not. Oh, no, I'm sorry. In the interview, Wendi said, even though I suggested my parents, I did not think my mom and dad, specifically Donna, was capable of doing this. Right. Okay, then Georgia pointed out that she mentioned Charlie first and that they should be prosecuted, except if it was her family. And I quote, and everyone knows this already because we've all watched it. She said, it would be different if I thought it was my brother. She confirmed that. No, my family. If it was my brother is the quote. She said really? She said the family she talked a lot about it possibly being her family being angry. But the quote is, it would be different if I thought it was my brother. That's what I have here. Now you're making me second guess myself. You all know what I mean. Anyway, and again, it's something we know about already, but I'm bringing it up again because it was said on the stand and a brand new set of 12 people who did not know this case heard that. Imagine everything I've already told you up until now, what they're sitting there thinking, right?
I know. It's so hard to keep yourself like on the outside and not, because you know so much more obviously than the jurors. It's so hard to really try to put put yourself into their shoes because you just know so much.
All right, I'm going to pause and go ahead and submit your questions or comments again. I'm going to get some, but if you submitted a comment a long time ago, submit it again for me so I don't have to scroll all the way back. But let's see. So Joan says she was 100% told in the interrogation room. She acted totally surprised. Another lie saying they told her in the car. Thank you for clarifying that. Okay, so I don't need to play the interview because that was a lie. And I hope everybody caught that today. Nobody talked about it on the other podcast, at least at what I heard.
We'll definitely confirm it tomorrow. We'll look for it and we'll show it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Like there's so many inconsistencies. Okay, so there's that. And then let me go down here. All right, so Raise the Road says, so she lied about the fact that they told her in the car, and she said that today. Why would she lie about that and then pretend to be surprised? Doesn't make sense. Well, she did. Yeah. She did. Go back and look at the testimony today. It is there. Shocker. She literally said she had no idea why she was going to the police station. Right. Liar.
Right.
Ava.
No.
Wendi was
told.
Know
why. Until they told her.
That's what she said. Right.
Yeah.
Wendi was told about Dan being shot. Before she was questioned by Isom. So she was faking it to act shocked when he told her about it at the police station. And I learned this today watching the trial. So I'm correct, guys, right? That was brand new. And you know what? That is perjury. And that can be used. It can be pulled out of that and the derivative immunity will not apply. You can use that.
That's probably why Georgia didn't move on with that questioning. She just allowed her to answer it and move on.
Okay, I love this one. I'm so excited to talk about this one. Let's talk about Rivera, who he says gave the order. Wendi, not Donna. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the thing about that. Okay, so I watched that testimony, and it's confusing because we all know that Luis Rivera, Luis, whatever you want to call him, Louis. I don't want to say Louis. It's not the Spanish way. It's like Luis Rivera. Anyway, he's always talked about a lady. Okay, back then,
right.
Rivera was not the one dealing with this. He wasn't the one who was getting he was like the third, fourth person in line to get information here.
Right.
He knew that there was a woman, a lady with 2 kids that needed her husband gone. That's what he knew. So back in last trial and the ones before, he mentions they're doing it for the lady with the 2 kids. This is for the lady with the 2 kids. And then there was one other time where they're driving down the street and they see a lady with 2 kids walking down the street. And Sigfredo says to Luis, that's the lady we're doing this for. Okay? So then, fast forward to Friday, the question was a completely different line of questioning. What was said was, this all started how did you find out about doing this hit? And he said, I got this info from Sigfredo. And who did he get it from? He got it from Katie. And then he said, how did Katie get the information about where to go to place this hit on Dan Markel? And he said, Wendi Adelson. My worry about him saying Wendi was that they were going to come back at him and be like, well, you never said her name before. And then it would be tossed out or nobody would take it seriously, But then I thought differently after that. And I was like, you know what? Georgia didn't come back about that and try to set the record straight on that, because I just think that it's not that big of a deal. I think that we had a viewer.
Wait, what do you not think it's not a big deal?
Well, I thought it was what I thought was a big deal was the fact that Georgia didn't come back and like try to question Rivera I thought that they would think that, well, you never said that.
Focusing
losing
on the name.
No, losing credibility because saying, "Hey, you never said Wendy's name before," and then that would like make that piece of information not be looked at by the jury. We're not going to look at that because he never said her name before, so we're not going to look at that evidence. But then I had a viewer on our channel who came. He was an attorney, and he came on and he commented and said, "You know what? All you need to do is come back with questioning from Georgia, saying, hey." Do you mostly speak Spanish or English? Spanish. Did you know who Wendi was at that time? No. Do you have an issue sometimes in conveying with your language? Yeah. So was it easier for you to say the lady with the 2 kids? Yeah. I mean, there's so many things you could have done with that. And I just thought that was such a brilliant idea from that attorney. So Georgia, if you're listening and it becomes a problem for you, go back and point out the fact that there's some broken English going on there, and he didn't get it right maybe perfectly, but he really meant the lady was Wendi.
He really doesn't have broken English, but
no, he does. He does.
No, I think he has an accent, but I don't think he has broken English. But I don't. I thought it was weird that he actually said her name, and I didn't really like that he actually said her name because it does make it inconsistent with all his other. So. I don't know. I guess the fact that Georgia didn't ask him to clarify or to why are you saying her name this time, or or even or even the defense, like why didn't defense ask him, or I don't know, maybe they didn't.
All right, before we continue,
I know why. I know why the defense didn't want him to clarify, because it took it out of Donna. It took it off of Donna's shoulders and put it on Wendy's.
Right. Well, absolutely. And then of course, remember Georgia mentions it once. And then when Jackie Fulford questions him, she made sure that he said again and repeated it that it was Wendi. So that's the moment I thought that that their defense strategy was going to be to like redirect onto Wendi. Right. And that is exactly what happens later.
And also, Jackie also I believe it was Jackie who did it, gave him a picture and had him circle 1, 2, 3, right?
Yes.
So basically, who was the first one involved with the shooting? And he circled one for Katie because she was the first involved, and then 2 for his friend Sigfredo, and then 3 was him, 4 was Charlie, and I think 5 he put it as Wendi. Is that right?
No, 5 was Wendi, and then but the most important thing for their case was who put an X next to anybody who has nothing to do with this, and he put Harvey and Donna. So that was I don't really love Jackie Fulford, but she scored a couple points, but for the most part. Did. Well, I don't like her, and I think the majority of them, I think they're kind of 2 weasels, and they don't really, but she had some moments. She had some good moments. That's my opinion on that. Hey guys, like this video right now. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, like, and share. Yay. Okay, so I'll take one more. Gilded Age says, be safe as he betrayed Sigfredo. He has been in Miami since he was 2 years old and speaks English fluently with a Spanish accent. He's been petitioning the court not to send him to, I don't know, I'm not sure what that is.
State,
okay, so listen, I sincerely apologize if that was offensive. That I really genuinely thought that maybe he had some issues with his ability to speak English. But I apologize. I don't mean anything bad by that. Joan says, Wendi said today that Charlie was not at the beach, and I was surprised. Oh, yes, that's a good one. I know.
That was a good one, because I always thought Charlie was there.
Me
All
too.
the trials, I never knew Charlie was not there.
Right.
I thought that was very interesting.
Very. Okay, yeah, we'll get into Rob in a couple of minutes, Tyler. Save your comment. Okay, so, all right. So now she called her mom from the interview, and they talked about that. The phone call she placed while she was in the interview, sitting there for 6 hours, a couple hours in, they called Donna. And they asked her to sit. She asked, this is so important, guys. And if you didn't catch this, this is so good. Ready?
Okay.
Remember when Wendi called? She said, Mom, you need to sit down.
Mm-hmm.
Donna told her on the phone in the very beginning, before she ever told her what happened with Danny, that, oh, Harvey's in the shower. Harvey's in the shower right now. And then she goes, Mom, you need to sit down. And then she asked if she could put her on speaker before she gives her whatever news she has for her. She puts her on speaker, and Harvey was not there because he was in the shower. So that means in order to asking her if she could put her on speaker means there's a second person in the room that needs to hear what her news is. And that's what we think. We think it's Charlie was there at that moment. And I was like, whoa, that was mind blowing for me. I didn't even think of that. I was like, because let's think about this again, right? You're home. Tony's in the shower.
Yeah.
Your daughter calls you with really bad news. You pick up the phone and she goes, and you go, Tony's in the shower. So you say, oh, okay. Well, you're going to need to sit down for this, your daughter says. And then you go, can I put you on speaker? Well, why would you need to be putting her on speaker unless it was another person sitting there with you?
Maybe so that her husband can hear it, so Harvey can hear it.
Harvey's in the shower, Jocelyn. There's no way he's going to hear it when he's in the shower. It's not like you don't think that the police would have known and that she had taken the phone and walked into the bathroom and would have heard the shower and all that. You would have heard that. So if that was even a factor, we would know that from the police.
You would hear it.
Yeah, she's like, no, it was quick. It was, Harvey's in the shower. What's going on? Well, you're going to need to sit down. Well, can I put you on speaker? That, to me, means Charlie was there. Charlie was in the room. So I was like, that was brand new for me today.
I mean, it's definitely possible. Yeah, I'm not going to argue that one. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Another thing that bothered me, though, was... okay, this is a big one for a lot of viewers and a lot of people that were on today watching on Court TV and Law and Crime and all that, Carl Steinbeck, when she talked about the fact that she hadn't talked to Donna for 2 years.
Right.
A lot of people were pissed that Georgia didn't turn around and say, why haven't you spoken to your mother, Donna? Why haven't you spoken? Why has it been 2 years? Why haven't you visited her? Why haven't you called her in the jail? That would have been really interesting to hear the answer to that, don't you think?
So
think about that.
Why would Georgia not ask? Like, what would be the angle that Georgia would not ask that?
Anytime there's a question for me about Georgia, I just keep thinking she's saving it for a rainy day.
I mean, in all honesty, if she asked that, the defense could be like, why are we asking that? Like, what's the validity of asking that question? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why ask that?
Because we want to know what Wendy's thinking. Why is she like, I don't like her anymore. I think she's a murderer. I mean, I would like to know what she thinks. What's the reason that she hasn't been talking to her?
Well, I'm saying that has nothing to cater to the case. The defense could be like, it's irrelevant information. Is it not irrelevant? Like, how is that?
It is relevant because it's about Donna. Why haven't you talked to your mother in 2 years? Donna's the defendant on the stand. Don't you think? It is relevant. It is relevant. Absolutely. I disagree. I think it's very, very relevant.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
Let me know. Do you think it's relevant for us to know why Wendi has not spoken to her mom for 2 years? I think it's very relevant. And don't answer that just because you want to know.
Right. Relevant to the case, not like how. Like, how is Georgia supposed to ask that, and it's relevant to the case?
Right, because we are.
What's she trying to prove by asking that? That's when you ask questions, you're trying to prove something. So what would she be proving if she asked those questions?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It might be a good question for the defense to ask her. Okay, well, that's where we're at now. We're at the defense. Cross-examination.
Well, it wouldn't be for the defense, because then it would just show more guilt towards Donna.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
So.
All right, I do have the final couple minutes of her testimony I'll just play a little bit of it, guys. You guys ready? We're going to play a little bit of her and Georgia at the end. What?
Okay. Do you have Rob's?
I do. I'm not there yet.
I know.
Jocelyn, I am not there yet.
I'm just asking because I still haven't seen him. I've just heard him. So I would love to see him. Okay, wait.
Somebody just said that she just gave the answer. Yeah, he moves so fast. So hold on. Her answer would be the same old answer that her attorney advised her not to see her mother. Okay, yeah. Right, but that wasn't the question. The question was, Jocelyn wants to know, is there any relevance for her to answer that question in this trial? That's the question.
I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody wants wanting Georgia to say that, but all reality, what is the relevance of her saying that? And that's exactly what she probably would have said. My lawyer advised me not to, because she was arrested like 3 hours after he was convicted.
Right.
Convicted,
Right. Actually, yes, but Joan said it. The attorney said not to talk to them. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. But should she have asked the question? I don't know. Maybe not.
Even if she did ask it, that's the answer she's going to get. So I think Georgia didn't want to be bothered.
All right, here we go. We're going to listen to just a little bit, because Lynn never saw the testimony, just to hear a little bit. But this is the ending of her direct. Okay.
Okay.
And you testified on direct that anybody in your family that had anything to do with it should be held.
What happened? Hello?
Responsible, isn't that correct?
Yes.
And that includes you, doesn't it?
Anyone who's responsible.
Redirect examination.
When you said you were an actor in someone else's show, whose show was it?
I think I felt like I just wasn't fully present in my own life, that I had always been a real people pleaser. And so there was an aspect of not always being true to myself and wanting to make other people happy.
And one of those people is your mom, right?
Yes.
And that's part of why you kept going with relocation, even when you kind of had some doubts about it, right?
I would say it's part of the reason.
You were asked on cross-examination about the final order on relocation issued June 20th, 2013, and didn't you stipulate to making it with prejudice, I guess? Do you remember doing that?
I don't actually remember stipulating. I mean, I see it in the order, but I don't remember actively saying anything or participating in a stipulation.
In fact, when you testified about this previously, didn't you indicate you didn't know what with prejudice meant?
I think it's not something that comes up in my daily practice, and so at the time I had forgotten that it meant that it was a final order.
All right, and it was suggested or said on cross that you didn't tell your mom it was final and she was misled and she thought there was still room for it, right?
That is what was said to me on cross.
I'm going to approach and show you what I've marked as 64JJ.
See Harvey back there? And there's John Lauro, her attorneys, all the way to the right. Jocelyn. There he is.
I'm looking. Wait, where is he? All the way to the right?
He's right behind Jockey Fulford with the purple tie.
Right, okay.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yes. I've seen his letterhead. Okay.
Okay.
Do you recognize that email?
I mean, I recognize the email address. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yes.
The email from.
The email is from my mom and dad's email address to a friend of theirs.
Who's the friend?
The Klegermans. I think it's Vicky, the woman in the relationship.
Okay, and it's signed Love Donna, right?
Yes, sorry. So it's from my mom.
And in this email, does she indicate to the Klingermans that there is no chance at the appellate level for appeal of your relocation?
Yes, that's what the email says.
All right, and is that email dated 6/25 of 13?
Yes.
So 5 days after the order was issued, your mom did know that that order was final, based on this?
Based on that email, yes.
Okay, it was, you were asked questions about, your mom never suggested any harm to Dan Markell to you, but she did want to bribe him, yes?
Yes.
Take control from him, weren't those her words?
Yes.
Aggravate him,
Yes.
scare him.
I don't remember scare him, but I believe that was part of it.
Give him some grief.
Yes.
Take something from him.
Yes.
Show that fucker what would make him absolutely miserable.
Yes.
But definitely not kill him, right?
I don't know what the question is.
Donna was caring and devoted to your boys. You were asked about that. That's true, right?
Yes.
In fact, she maybe cared a little too much about your life and you and what was going on with you sometimes, right?
I don't know that you can care too much.
Even the Nazi uniform craziness came from her version of some kind of place of love. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Because although her lawyers tried to downplay this, she was suggesting a baptism for these kids, right?
Yes.
She said
Unreal.
she looked into it and could get it done in 2 weeks, right?
I believe that's what it said.
And didn't she justify the means or claim that this would be harmless to your children because it was just like playing dress up to them, right?
Yes.
Just like Jake the Pirates.
Yes.
She thought the ends, relocation, would justify the means, didn't she?
Yes.
And she thought a move to South Florida was what was best for you
Yes.
and what was best for your children,
Yes.
who she cared about more than anyone in the world.
I mean, I don't know who she cared about most in the world, but she loves
Is there,
me.
is there anyone that she cares about more than those two boys?
My dad.
Okay.
I beg to differ.
She thought relocation was best for those boys. They were
Yes.
going to have better opportunities, right?
Yes.
Better family support, a
Yes.
happier mother
Oh,
with a more lucrative profession.
can we
Yes.
just talk about the fact
And
he
your
looks
lives-
miserable? He looks miserable. Let me go back. Hello?
It has look at the upside down smile.
Okay, so guys, the other day they took a picture of him in the lobby, and he was like, and they took a picture of him. Yeah, I should.
Wait,
Well,
what do you mean? He was waving?
he was waving like this, and I think he was just trying to be like, "Yeah, take a picture of me," kind of thing. And they snapshot that. And after looking at the picture, I thought to myself, you know what? He is living his best life. He's probably like, I'm gonna end up on a beach somewhere with a coconut drink and keep her arse in jail. You know what I mean?
Honestly, she ruled the roost and she got things done. I think that he's been on his own since November of 2023, and he's just he doesn't know. He probably didn't do his own laundry.
No,
House
he's
is probably a wreck. I mean, he needs her.
He probably hires hookers. He's probably living his best life in a hot tub the way Charlie used to be with his drink in his hand. I mean, I don't think he wants her to come home.
He doesn't look like he's living his best life. He looks miserable.
Well, he looks miserable there because he knows he's, partially, could get in trouble
look at
here.
him.
But yeah,
He's upset and mad. He's without his without his other half. I mean, they've been married for 50 some odd years, and she took care of everything, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you gotta think of their generation. They're in their 70s or 80s.
Right. I know. All right, let me continue.
Profession.
Yes.
And your lives all depended on it. Isn't that what she said?
Yes.
And Dan Markel could have agreed, couldn't he?
He was amenable, but then he didn't want to, ultimately.
Well, he could have moved to South Florida, right? Isn't that what you were asked on Cross?
Yes, he could have.
Could have moved to South Florida and enjoyed all that delicious kosher food down there, right?
Yes.
And if he had relented, you and he could have had separate lives in Miami and happily co-parented the boys, right?
In
That
theory,
could have happened.
Yes, it could have.
Except he wouldn't relent, would he?
I mean, he said no, and so we had a hearing, and the judge said no.
Right. He wouldn't relent. He
I
wouldn't
love this part.
give your mom what she wanted, would he?
I mean, we only had one conversation about it, so it wasn't like a ongoing thing.
It wasn't an ongoing thing? What wasn't?
I mean, between Danny and I, we talked about relocation. He said he would think about it, and then he said he didn't want to. And then we had the hearing, and then that was the end of it for me.
Yes,
Of
but you
course.
were asked on Cross, wouldn't things have been potentially great for Danny down there too?
Yes, I think they would have.
Couldn't we all have lived happily ever after if he would have agreed to move down there too?
She is so full of crap. There is no way he ever considered it. There's just no way. He had tenure at FSU.
I think Dan. So I'm giving Dan credit here. That I think that he actually catered the idea for a hot second. I think he was trying to be. I think that I truly think that Dan saw that she really wanted to move, that this is a great opportunity for her job. You know, this whole time they've been supporting his work and his climbing the ladder. You know what I mean? So I really do think, I want to give Dan credit here. I really do think Dan considered it, but then was like, you know, I can't.
I had heard that before the divorce was final, that he really made a conscious effort to get her back. And he started coming home earlier from work, because one of her complaints was that he worked too much.
Right.
And I think at that time was when he said, you know, I'll even consider going down to Miami. And she was like, nope, I don't want to be with you anymore anyway. So I think under those circumstances, with the idea that maybe I could get her back, he did say that. But I think after the divorce, he was dating Amy. There was no way he was going to move down to Miami. He was dating Amy at this time.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if you get on a plane in I don't know what the closest airport is in Tallahassee. Is there a Tallahassee airport? I don't know.
Panama City. Panama City Beach.
There's no difference from Panama City to New York or New York to Miami. It's the same airplane.
True.
It's like 20 minutes longer in the air. You know, no big deal.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I do think that he did give it a hot second and thought about it. I don't think he's as cruel as that to say no right away.
He ain't cruel at all. I think Dan Markel was a great guy, and they portrayed you're going off of what. Don't listen. These people are going to be like, rawr, if you even talk bad about the victim, don't even go there, Jocelyn.
I'm not talking bad about him. If anything, I'm giving him credit here. I really do think that he gave her. He really did think about it.
Yeah. Oh, while we're here, crime victims, Wendi, I know this is late, but I can't believe this. Your friend is being conned. The Ramseys lawyered up, the McCanns lawyered up, and got PR. Here's the guilty and rich playbook. Okay. All right. Thanks for hanging with us, though. Oh, well, we love you guys. We love all views.
Is that who said that?
That was I gotta scroll back. Aniki.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes.
Listen, we're not one of those channels.
Welcome at all.
Yeah, you're always welcome here. Like there are some channels that are like, what? Bye. They literally like block the user because they don't believe with what they believe. I mean, really, that's so stupid. Please don't do that. You know,
Listen,
we accept
we're
all
called-
views.
Yes, we're moms for justice, and we just want, we're just talking both sides. That's all.
Yeah. Just a bunch of old hags, a bunch of moms,
Yes.
just trying to get to the bottom of what's going on here. All right. A little bit more. And we're almost done with this clip. Okay.
Possibly, right?
Possibly.
But he wouldn't
we are
agree.
done with this clip.
He didn't agree.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
Nothing further.
Sorry. All right. So I'm going to go back now to the rest of my cross-examination notes. Okay. So pick with Katie at the beach. Donna, they said, was Donna there? No. Dinner with Katie at the Yardbird. Was Donna there? No. So that's really what this defense is so far, is like, there's nothing about extortion mentioned at all. So we all thought that she was going to be like, I was extorted with Charlie. Well, we haven't heard much about extortion. In fact, the defense barely mentions Charlie's name. Barely.
Well, one thing, go ahead. I'll
Well,
finish
the
after.
basic consensus of this defense is go ahead and prove it.
Right.
Prove it. You've got no evidence. There's no real evidence. That's what they're going to say. And they're pointing out all the areas where Donna was not involved. So, she wasn't at the beach, and neither was Charlie, now that we know. Dinner at the Yardbird. That was with Charlie, not with Donna, right? Did you want to say something before I go on?
Yeah. And that, I thought was interesting. They were talking about the hate mail. Jackie was talking about the hate mail and how the mom had said some awful things, but not once in that mail did she say he needs to die, or I hope he gets run over by a truck, or she doesn't say anything about hurting him in that aspect. And I thought that was kind of interesting because I never looked at it that way.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, and I thought I was like, it's a really good thing to point out without outright saying that. Like, oh, she does, you can hate anybody all you want. There's plenty of times where, I dislike somebody or, whatnot, or a situation, but I would never be like, you need to die. I mean, other than, growing up when we were kids and you were so mad at your mom, you're like, I just wish you got hit by a truck and died, But you just don't.
Or when your kid's like, your 5-year-old is mad because you took his toy away. He's like, I hope you die.
Yeah, exactly. But when you're an adult, like I've heard adults say like, oh, I wish you would just die, or or especially divorced people would say that about their, So I don't know. I just said it's just a good point to kind of bring up.
Okay, but I also want to make a point that this woman did really crazy, disastrous, grotesque, horrible things just short of saying that she wanted him to die. I mean, she said everything. No, but she said everything but that. But
why not say it then? She because who comes?
Because maybe she was smart enough to know at least that don't put that in writing.
Okay.
Right? Think about it. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. That's my answer.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think they're really proving anything yet, though. I'm waiting for them to prove something. They haven't yet.
I love you, Mark, but really?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm waiting for the evidence against
There is
Donna.
evidence the same way there's evidence on Wendi. It's circumstantial, but also there's actually more concrete. Well, there's no
there's got to be more.
Like, there is evidence. There's that dude. Let's just let the money drop, laundering the money. I could go. I have a whole list. You want me to go through that or continue?
No, let's continue because that's when it comes to the trial, then we'll talk about it.
I have like a 20-25 points that make Donna guilty. Like I have like all the evidence listed, but yeah, the bump evidence. All the calls, this TV's going to cost us $5. Come on. I mean, there's so many things.
That's another thing with the TV. I thought that was a good thing when Jackie brought it up, when they said, when they filled out the form to get Geek Squad to come in, and there was a part in there that says, if you want to come in any earlier, are you willing? And they said yes. And I thought, wow, that was actually really interesting because that's never come up.
Right, and that would go against them being guilty, because if you wanted to make sure that was your alibi on that day, you wouldn't say that you would take an earlier day.
Right.
I'll give you that. That through. Anybody got an explanation for that? I mean, that was just as much against, us feeling Wendy's guilty as we do Donna, or at least me. What do we say about that? What's everybody's explanation for that? I mean, it's crazy. So anyway, okay, I'll keep going. So,
oh wait, one more thing about that whole, and it did say, I could have sworn they said on that questionnaire or whatever that they filled out, like the next available date was like almost a month out. So it wasn't like they booked it like a week before.
I didn't catch that. They said there was another date, but it wouldn't be for another month.
Yeah, I'll have to go back.
Well, maybe that's why they said they'd take an earlier date, and then they would move the murder earlier.
Well, they would have to get their butts up there then. They could call last minute and be like, I have an opening today. Can I come today? But that never happened.
Amen, Joan. Amen. Washing the money, bumper, code talk, hated Dan. Rob's testimony by far puts the nail in that coffin. You are right. And we're never going to get to...
If anything, washing the money and a bump to me is like by far the most evidence.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. And code talk. Yeah, that was pretty good too.
I want to get to Rob, and we never will. I'm going to have to blow through the rest of this. Okay, so let me just keep going. I'm just going to list my notes. Describe Donna as kind and empathetic, sensitive. She said, Mom has always been there for you. She pointed all those out. And this was really important because she came off really, really sweet at first, Jackie Fulford. She was like, wasn't your mom sweet? Didn't she love you? Was she loving to the grandchildren? She went into all that. And I could see Wendi actually relaxing on the stand a little bit. Like, finally, I can relax. I feel like I don't need to have my guard up so much as she did with Georgia. Okay. And it does change. But anyway, about Danny, she says she admitted she was attracted to him before the divorce. There was some happiness. Even parents joined in on vacations. He traveled for work. The kids became the love of his life. Danny made huge efforts to be with them. Donna was kind to Danny when he was around. Did Donna ever suggest Danny deserved to be harmed? Never, she said. Danny sometimes asked Donna for help, and he would help her. Also, the $1 million offer was an incentive, not a bribe, she said. She goes, it was just to get him to do what he wants to do. It wasn't a bribe. It was just an incentive for him to come on down to Miami. She tried to make that sound like it was less than what it was.
I mean, honestly, it's like the same word. You know what I mean? It really is like the same word.
No, it's not. Incentive and bribe are two different things.
Is it not like, come work for my company. I'll give you this. And another company will be like, no, come work for me. I'll give you this. It's the same word.
No.
Please.
There's a big difference for me applying for a job and going, oh, you're going to get a company car and you're going to get this. That's all positive things. But that is combative to bribe somebody. That is like saying, if you don't do this, you're going to get none of this. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, right. But
okay.
First of all, they didn't say you will get none of that. They didn't. That was in her email. But
everybody knows
that's not what was pitched. Is what I'm saying.
No, but everybody knows what a bribe is, and Donna was using the word bribes in her emails, and we all know what a bribe is, and Donna knows what a bribe is. She's not an idiot,
right?
Well, that remains to be seen. She is an idiot.
Oh, you're an idiot.
Anyway, so yeah. So, okay, her necklace said never, never give up. She wanted to point that out because there's times the parents would sign their email saying never, never, never give up, and she wanted to make it seem like, they're just saying that because you're a sweet necklace. She pointed out that WhatsApp was free of charge to call or message, and that was an incentive to use it. An email from Harvey confirmed the Geek Squad appointment was created on July 11th. We went through all this, and then would you accept the appointment sooner? I already went through the kindergarten paperwork about Markel and Adelson names.
You just answered it. So they made the appointment on July 11th. So that was only a week before.
No, they created the appointment on the 11th for a 55-inch TV that had problems. And then on that paperwork, they asked, would you take something sooner?
Yeah, but
They-
what I had
they-
said before was I thought they created the appointment a month before the date they gave them, but they didn't. It was only 8 days before.
Oh, okay. Right,
right,
exactly. And they said they would take something sooner, which is
Right.
they probably rolled the dice on that and gambled, because what are the chances that you would get something any time sooner with that short of a notice? If you're making the appointment on the 11th for a murder that's going to happen on the 18th and that needs to be your alibi, when they're asked that question, it'd be,
Plus, it had to coincide with Jeff leaving.
yes.
It's a big risk. It's a big risk to write that.
It does, because Jeff was framed, yeah. And then emails about Donna's. She doesn't like Jeff Lacasse, everybody. I love Jeff Lacasse. And no, I don't have like something for him. It's not like that. I just think he's so credible of a witness. So, yeah. Emails about Donna's suggestions, her suggestions on what she could do to convince Dan Markel to turn things around, were just to make Dan think that they might happen and not that Wendi would actually do them. That was pointed out again. Donna, she admitted that Donna hated Dan at one point, but the week before he died, she babysat and made him banana bread. The good old banana bread. Wendi clarified she wouldn't have had the
with
strength.
chocolate chips.
With chocolate chips. Wendi clarified that she wouldn't have had the strength to leave Dan without her family. That was kind of important, I thought. She finally admitted it.
I mean, well, she didn't admit that before?
No, they had asked her first, and she like tried to dance around the answer, and then eventually she finally said, "Okay, I probably wouldn't have had the strength to do it. That doesn't mean I didn't want to do it, but I probably wouldn't have gone through with it."
Right.
Okay.
I mean, they're a close-knit family, and they've never shied away from that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's true. Never, because they're like thick as thieves. She talked about sitting on the same stage as Dan at an FSU graduation and how she could get through it. Maybe I could do this and have the boys be babysat and, trying to show and portray. And this is a defense attorney bringing this out of Wendi right now, trying to get Wendi comfortable, Wendi very relaxed. And then Jackie turns on Wendi. Okay, so how can I explain this for anybody who didn't hear it earlier? She tried to make it look like Wendi did not tell Donna about the court's with prejudice decision.
Right.
And this implied that Wendi purposely didn't tell her mother so that Donna could stay angry and push for more action against Dan. That's the way I was reading that. So there was the relocation hearing, a final decision, and then she started like raising her voice and like yelling at Wendi a little bit. Okay. Then she talked about asked if on her wedding day, if she already knew. No, she got her to admit that on her wedding day, she already knew she didn't love Dan. That she didn't really love him. And then she admitted it. She kind of agreed. And then she raises her voice and says, when Danny was murdered, your boys lost their father for the rest of their lives. She like yelled at her. And then I was like, I perked up and I had to rewind it a little bit because I was kind of like doing something at one point while I was watching. And all of a sudden I looked up and the woman's like changed. Her face like changed. I was like, Jackie turned into another person. And I'll have to save that for another episode. But I was like, so we'll just show that. But I looked at her, I'm like, who are you? You're not even the same lady. Like, I was like, and I actually gave her credit for the fact
What was her point, though? What was her point in doing that?
Her point was to shift things to look like Wendi was the problem here, not Donna. Okay? Because then she goes on to say, when asked, who could do this? You said your family, right? And she said, yes. And she goes, and that includes you, right? Implying it's Wendi. So I was like, I see what this woman is doing. Well, right after that, she closed out her questioning. And then Georgia came back up and I started dying laughing because I thought to myself, she's probably like, thank you, Georgia. I'm so glad to have you back.
I'll take her back any day.
I'll take her any day. Because I was like, whoa, that woman really turned on her. So I was like, did you guys all get that same feeling? Because I was like looking on comments on different podcasts trying to see if anybody else was feeling what I was. I'm like, woo, she just like totally flipped the script on this girl. I'm like, okay. All right. I want to get to Rob Adelson. But please Comment below what you guys thought about that. All right, so Rob Adelson. He deserves a whole episode. All right, so here we go. Absolutely heartbreaking. Jocelyn, Jocelyn, in case if you're new, you joined us late. Jocelyn had to work, so she was cleaning teeth. And she had the earbuds in, so she could not visually watch this trial. And I think it's so important to visually watch it. He walked in, dressed very nice in a suit. He looked so incredibly sad. Heartbroken, nervous, the tension, you could like, it was so thick you could cut it with a knife. And then Donna, I pointed out that video earlier on. I showed you when Wendi first walked in and her face of my golden girl, this proud moment of seeing her daughter, Donna. When they put the camera on, seeing her daughter, Wendi, when they put the camera on Wendi, when Robert walked in, she was cold as ice. Really? Cold as ice. She was mean and she did not like Rob. She did not want Rob there. She was just straight up cold. I was like, and he's sitting there. I wouldn't say he was shaking, but there was like this feeling like inside everything was shaking. It was just.
Well, it's nerve-wracking too. And plus you're up there, you have to talk against your mother.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's not going to lie. Or at least I'm assuming he doesn't want to lie. So I think he knows what he has to say. It doesn't bring much light to her. So he's probably just feeling normal agita about it.
Agita? That's interesting. Agita. Okay, I'm going to go through.
It's a Yiddish word.
I guess so, yeah. I'm going to blow through these notes and play a clip of Rob, okay? Before I do that, make sure you guys are liking this video, subscribe, like, and share. We so appreciate you guys. All right, here we go. These are my notes. He confirmed that Donna is dominant, controlling, assertive. He said that his father, Harvey, was passive. That Donna had fixed ideas and expectations, strong opinions on who you should marry. Charlie needed the most attention out of the three. He was initially positive about Dan. Donna was initially positive about Dan and then only heard bad things about Dan after the split. So it's almost like he had no idea what was going on until this split happened. Right. Nobody shared anything with him, right?
Right.
He did say that by 2014, Donna hated Dan. He said Wendi played the damsel in distress. Okay? His word, like he was asked that and he said yes. Okay. Donna talked about the divorce. He said that Danny was depoting Wendi with the depositions, long depositions. Donna stayed in Tallahassee for months, arranging the rental, helping her move. They timed, this was new for me. Donna and Wendi specifically timed the phone call to reach Dan in New York City to let him know that she had left him. That was new.
What do you mean he timed? He timed it. Yeah.
I will repeat it. He said that Donna told him, Donna told Rob Adelson that, I got her all set up. I helped her get the rental. I moved her out and we timed the call perfectly to Dan Markell, who was in New York City, to let him know that she's leaving him. Okay. He said that when Donna described this to him, she was giddy, almost like giggling, happy describing it. Like she was loving that this was happening.
Well, yeah. Did you read her emails?
I don't care. It's still awful.
She wants him to go through aggravation. There was a lot of things that she was feeling towards him.
Mm-hmm. True. Also showing just how involved of a controlling mother and how she was like overtaking Wendi's life, that she used her maiden name to rent the new place that she was staying at to transition out of the home. He saw Donna managing Wendi's emails about the divorce back in October 2012. Donna told him about the $1 million bribe, so he was able to testify to that. He said that Charlie didn't care about Wendi coming down to Miami. Charlie cared only about his own life, and he did not care about Wendi's divorce. He didn't care if she moved. Donna was fixated on getting Wendi a job in Miami. $1 million offer was possibly on the table to be a partner in a law firm for Wendi, but they didn't end up wanting Wendi anyway, and he testified to how Donna was furious that she didn't get that job. Then Wendi texted him, Rob, about having a boyfriend right before the murder. And he testified that this was very unusual because she never shared personal life information with him, especially about boyfriends. So she texted him about the Gainesville trip before July 4th weekend with Jeff and said that her parents don't tell mom and dad about Jeff because they don't know about him, which I thought was odd because Jeff does testify that he did run into them once and got to meet them once. So I don't know what that is about, but.
Well, you could always meet them, but not know anything else about them.
True, but when she said, don't tell them that I have a boyfriend named Jeff.
Yeah.
That's weird because she did introduce Jeff as her boyfriend to her parents at least once.
Well, how you know, was that as a boyfriend or just a friend?
No, it was as a boyfriend because Jeff testified to that. Because Jeff is always right.
Jeff wants to hear what he wants to hear.
Jeff is always right, Jocelyn. All right, anyway. So she texted him about the Gainesville trip before July 4th about Jeff. Then she said, don't tell the parents about him. And then on a different occasion, she sends a picture of Jeff with the boys. And again, he felt extremely uncomfortable with it because he thought there was something behind that because she would never just out of nowhere be like talking to him about her love life or about who she was dating. It's like she never gave a crap before and now she does. That's weird.
I wonder when she sent that picture.
It was right around the time of the Gainesville trip. So then he said, and I'm going ahead, but when he ends up talking to the FBI later, he felt compelled to tell the FBI about it. That's how much it bothered him and how unique it was.
Right.
So at the 70th birthday party, this is huge, Lynn. If you don't see this, no gift was given to Harvey.
Right.
Rob said that whenever a gift was planned or given, they would all pitch in for it. And Donna would kind of lead the group chat or the group email about, hey, we're doing this for Dad. Put this money in here towards it, whatever.
But he also said that he said they did gifts like that often. And if you wanted to be part of it, you could. It wasn't like you had to.
Right. But as we know, there are text messages between Charlie and Donna where she's on the road with Harvey on a long trip, I think coming home from Tallahassee. And there is text messages, if you probably don't remember this, but there are text messages between Charlie and Donna where Donna says to Charlie, have you thought about Dad's birthday gift? I can't talk now because he's with me. When we stop at a rest area, we could talk about it. And almost like Dad's birthday gift sounded like a code.
Right.
Okay? It sounded like a code for the murder. So it's important now that Rob is saying, there was no gift given. I don't know about any gift. Okay? So at the party, Donna and Harvey's apartment, which by the way, is a high security, celeb-filled apartment. A-Rod lives there. They were talking about how they lived with amongst celebrities. Charlie, Wendi, and the boys attended that. There was a paella chef, okay? And it was not a surprise party. And on the call, it was the text messages between Charlie and Donna, and I think even Wendi mentioned this. It was supposed to be a surprise birthday party.
Right. It was supposed to be, but he found out, right?
No, it was never, ever a surprise party. It was never
Is that
supposed.
What Rob said?
Yes, Rob said it was never, ever like a surprise, and he found out. It was never planned as a surprise party to begin with. Harvey knew from the get-go. That is huge.
Wow, that is huge.
Really big.
That
yes.
is huge.
And Wendy's behavior with the whole sending her the picture of Jeff. You never send any other boyfriend that she's had, and she's had Dave Eitel. She dated Miguel. She dated all these people. And you never sent him ever before, but you sent a picture of Jeff Lacasse.
I would love to know when that picture was sent. Before
I told you.
Or after? Yeah, before or after, though?
Before or after what?
The Gainesville trip. I think
He said it was right around the time she was messaging him about the Gainesville trip is when she sends a picture, which is just before.
Well, according to her,
just before July 4th is what he says. I'm telling you what he said.
Right, but the Gainesville vacation was a week before. I'm pretty sure it was the week before.
No, he said that he went to Gainesville just before July 4th. So yes,
That's
it
what
was
I'm
on
saying.
right, and the
Yeah.
picture was sent while they were on the Gainesville trip.
No, the Gainesville trip didn't have, the boys weren't with them. It was just them two.
Text
Remember
him about a
that's-
Gainesville trip before July 4th with Jeff. Says her parents didn't know about him, and then she sent a picture of Jeff with the boys. That's what I documented here.
Right, because they went on the trip together. Remember, and they got into
Yes.
an argument, and Jeff was like, "Well, I don't know if we're still together, but I think we still are because she allowed me to
Right.
drive her home." And
Right.
but
That was a
right,
trip
but-
that was taken.
Right, but before that, she also states on one of her trials that she was really interested in him, and she thought that they were going in a positive direction. She really wanted to take the relationship to the next level, but then they went on that trip, and then everything changed for her.
The
That's
only
what she
trip
said.
I know that she canceled was a trip to California to go meet his
No.
parents.
No, not cancel. She said that they had argued, and he was surprised that she went home with him.
Mm-hmm. No, there's
But-
another
and he-
trip. No, there's another trip where she said that she canceled it because he said he'd be returning with her on the 18th, which was the day of the murder, and she did not want to take. No, they
Oh,
were returning on the 17th, and she was
Right.
afraid she wouldn't be there in time to pick up her kids, so she canceled it.
Right.
I don't even think it was I don't even think it was a cancellation. I think it was something that was never booked, and she just
Right.
decided not to get a ticket. So there's that. All right, we
Right,
got to move
right.
through this. FBI came to his house after the murder, and then he told them about Jeff. Okay, gift wasn't given. Dan's murder. He heard the day after, and I'm going to be playing the clip from that. So a call from Donna comes in. Danny's been shot. He died. He drove up to help Wendi. She said she was driving up to help Wendi, and she was not crying and very matter of fact when she gave the information to him about the death. Then the next day, someone comes to his front. The next day, Donna tells him that someone came to the front door and asked, "Are you Dan Markel?" And then shot him, which is not what happened. He was shot in the car in his garage. So that's unusual. Donna made up a whole different story, and it was the day after. She would have known. She would have known by that point. She was on the phone with Wendi. She knew he was shot, and it was all over the news that night that he was shot in the driveway.
Right.
So
I understand why do you think that's significant?
did I play a role in that? I love that. You have zero doubt now just how planned it was. Okay. All right. Let me just finish 4 more notes and then I'm going to play this clip. Donna told him, if the police come around, don't talk to them. She added, well, you don't know anything anyway. Because she does, right? Donna never acted concerned. You could see that it was chilling for him. He asked his parents, what do you think happened? And Donna said, I don't care. And he goes, well, it's national news. And it was our family, yet nobody cared. 2016, hitmen were arrested. And on Dan's anniversary, I'm sorry, not Dan's anniversary, Rob's anniversary, he decided to wait because he knows his mother always calls him on his anniversary. So the hitmen are arrested. 2 days later is his anniversary.
Okay.
So he figures, I'm not going to call and be like, hey, hitman got arrested. What's going on? This is good news. You know, he didn't say anything yet. He goes, I figured I'll wait. She's probably going to call me on my anniversary. So phone rings. She calls him on the anniversary. Happy anniversary. And he's sitting there and he's waiting. She says nothing. And he goes, he couldn't take it anymore. And he goes, all right. So I heard the hitman got arrested. And she goes, I got to go. And she stopped talking to him. She never spoke to him again since that day. Tell me that's not chilling.
I got goosebumps.
Dude, that is freaking chilling, dude. All right, we're going to listen to this, guys, together. Ready?
Okay. That's what he looks like? He does look like Harvey. Hello?
Never.
All right, so how did you first hear about Dan Markel's murder?
I heard the day after the shooting occurred, so that would be Saturday, July 19. I was at a meeting in Chicago, and I think I got a phone call first, and that I was in a meeting, and so I just said, can I call you later? And then I got a text message shortly thereafter, like right before 10 in the morning. It said, like, tragedy here, please call.
And are these from Donna Adelson?
Yes.
Okay. So were you able to call her that morning from the conference in Chicago?
Yeah, so I walked out and went to the hotel lobby and just hit call.
Okay, and tell us about that conversation with her.
So it's one of those moments that you'll just remember forever. So I remember being in the lobby of the Westin, and I assumed something terrible had happened, and but I wasn't ready for it. She said, so we just want to let you know that Danny's been shot, and they took him to the hospital, but he didn't make it. And it didn't make any sense. And I probably asked like a few medical questions, and they said they're driving up to go help Wendi, and we'll talk to you later. We can't talk now.
Okay. Was she crying in that conversation?
Not
Donna
in the conversation.
Sir?
No, she was not.
Okay.
It was very matter of fact.
Did she ever give you any further detail that weekend about how he'd been shot, or other than just Danny was shot and he didn't make it?
I think it was the next day. So the only really other time that I spoke with him that weekend, I was in the airport going home, like Sunday afternoon. So it was definitely the next day, and it was the first time I could actually have any kind of conversation. And one of the things that she told me is, it bothered me, but I didn't have any other details about. But she said that, someone went to the front door and said, "Are you Dan Markel?" and then shot him. And then I said, "Well, how could you know that? Who's telling you that?" And she said, "Well, that's just what they're telling us." And
Okay. So she said someone told her that someone knocked on Danny's door, said, "Are you Dan Markel?" He said yes, and the shooter shot him.
That's the story I heard.
What? Pause it.
Later, we found out that wasn't what happened, but
Really? What?
So even Georgia says, so she said that somebody knocked on his door, asked if he was Dan Markel, and shot him. So is that not the same? So I think that's just got confusing somewhere. Maybe he thought she said front door and she said door. And what's the difference between the car door or front door? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't really think it's
Really?
such a huge relevance that she
It's
said.
like a human being coming up to the door and saying, "Are you Dan?" He went as far as having a quote, "Are you Dan Markel?" That didn't happen.
Oh, you're saying it didn't say it on the news?
I don't know about that. All I know is this is what Robert is testifying that Donna told him. And that is a bunch of cockamamie junk. It's just crap.
What's crap?
The
What
fact
part
that
of it is
Donna
crap?
is giving him a story that is ridiculous, that didn't happen. It's that specific that somebody went up to the front door, knocked, and said, "Are you Dan Markel?" and then shot him.
He said, even Georgia just said, so she told you that somebody knocked on the door, said, "Are you Dan Markel?" and then was shot.
Right.
She didn't say front door. Georgia didn't say front door.
Okay. All right. We'll argue about it later.
that story bothered me a lot because there's only one way you could hear that story.
Was she crying when she told you that information?
No.
You mentioned earlier that law enforcement contacted you after Dan Markel's murder. Did they contact you to try to see if you knew any information?
Yeah, they came to our house. I was already at work, and so they talked to my wife. It had to be a Wednesday or Thursday, so I was already at work.
And is this your house in New York?
Yes.
Okay. Did you end up talking to law enforcement and letting them, answering their questions, letting them know what you knew?
Yeah, they came to my office the next day, and we with two agents, and we had an interview.
Okay. After that conversation with, you said it was the FBI earlier, right?
Yes.
Okay. After that conversation with the FBI, did Donna Adelson ever say anything to you about having talked to law enforcement or the FBI?
It was either that afternoon or the next day, but and she called me and said, just want to let you know, if the police come around, don't talk to them.
Okay, so she told you not to talk to law enforcement.
Correct.
Did you let her know that you already had talked to law enforcement?
Yeah, I said I already did.
What did she say to that?
She said, "Oh, well, you don't know anything anyway."
You don't know anything anyway?
Correct.
Was that an unusual statement coming from your mother?
Yeah, it just, I mean, everything that week was unusual, but I mean, I clearly didn't know anything, but I wasn't going to not talk to the FBI if they show up at my house.
How did you respond? Let me ask you this. After the murder of Dan Markel, did Donna Adelson seem curious about who killed Dan Markel?
No.
Was there a complete lack of curiosity?
Yeah, nobody seemed curious.
Did you actually ever ask her, like after the murder, like, hey, like, what do you think happened? What do you?
Yeah, and the conversations were kind of rerouted, or that was certainly discouraged, and it was probably like maybe sometime like mid-August, when I finally had a chance to ask and say, what is going on? This was not a small event. This was getting a lot of notoriety, and I said, what do you guys think happened? And she had said, I don't know and I don't care. It doesn't concern me.
Was that out of character for her to not be curious and not be asking some questions?
Yeah, I mean, it was an unsolved murder of, my former brother-in-law, like someone that we all know very well. I mean, if it was like some neighborhood gossip, people would be interested. This was like national interest, and nobody had any curiosity about, who did this to Danny.
Is a person, you mentioned that...
Can I just say he cared more about Danny Markel than all of them? Wendi, it's crazy. Like, he barely even knew him. You know what I mean? Because he was in New York for so many years. I mean, he really wasn't around when... Right. And I just think it sounds so sincere, what he just said right now. And I just wanted to point that out.
Right.
Not only is it your brother-in-law, but it was like national news at that point as well.
Yes.
And regardless of it being national news or not, I mean, is a person dying from gun violence an extremely unusual thing to happen in your family?
Yeah, I mean, to this day, Danny's the only person that I know who's died from gun violence or been a victim of gun violence. So it's unique in that manner.
What would your mom, Donna Adelson, do if you did try to ask her any more about Danny's murder after that?
It wasn't a subject for discussion. It would be rerouted, or it was just not a subject to discuss.
When you say rerouted, do you mean like changing the subject?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fast forward to 2016. Do you remember in May of 2016 when Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera were arrested?
Yeah, I do. I saw it in the OR lounge. Someone told me about it. So it had to be like a Wednesday, and
you were in the operating room lounge.
Yeah, it was
and
the
someone
lounge.
told you about it.
Yes, it was someone else, because stories like this people see on Twitter or such, and I remember someone telling me like, hey, did you hear about that case? Because it's more than one person had followed it, and I saw it, and then. That was on the 26th, and I remember the dates because our anniversary is on the 28th of May. My wife and I were like, should we call them? Like they arrested some guy who killed Danny. And
when you say them, you mean like should we call
parents.
my parents? And
yes.
Yeah, okay. So it was big news that even people you work with were seeing that there were finally some arrests made.
Right.
Okay, and that was 2 days before your anniversary. You said.
Yes.
Okay, so
that face.
Did you and your wife eventually talk to your parents?
We did. Like we thought, like, should we call them? And we figured, if they wanted to call us, they would call us, and then they didn't. And so we figured, well, they'll call us on our anniversary, and so we can just sit tight. And I'm sure it's pretty stressful. And this guy was arrested in Miami, and so they called us on our anniversary, which was the 28th.
Okay, so that was 2 days after the arrest, I think?
2 days after I found out, yes.
2 days after you found out, thank you. So on the 28th, did you talk to Donna Adelson?
Yes.
All right, and when she called you, was she telling you the good news that Danny's killers were arrested?
No, he just called us for anniversary, and wished us well and had some small talk for a bit. I kind of let it go for a little bit. And I mean, this was not small news. And so I finally broached the topic and said, they found the guy, they arrested someone who killed Danny. There's no response. And I said it, at least 2 or 3 times that, they made an arrest. They got the guy who killed Danny. Yeah, and then her response was, I've got to go.
Wow. Wait, listen.
And then did she hang up the phone after that?
Yes.
Look at his face.
Yeah.
And did you ever talk to her about it again, ever after that?
No.
Just a second.
Spencer, that's actually a good point.
Other than, her reaching out for happy birthdays, happy anniversaries, that kind of thing, was that the last conversation you had with her?
That was the last time I spoke to her.
Okay. That's all. Thank you.
Cross-examination.
Wow. Heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's a huge one. You haven't spoken to him since then?
Nope. It's because
You
she's
know
she's a murdering witch, is what she is. And he's estranged from all of them.
Sir.
Good afternoon.
This weasel.
Wait, who are you calling a weasel?
The attorney.
Oh. They're calling him a
Donna's
weasel.
attorney looks like a little gelfling.
That's so mean.
Well, she makes me mad. But she helped Georgia a little bit today. So. Yes, Richard, she is.
So with Donna being such a busybody in Wendy's life, I have to say I'm surprised that does show more guilt, that she wasn't like, this, I can't believe this happened to my daughter and to my grandchildren.
Right.
Like there was she did not. Although, wouldn't that make her two-faced if she did do that? Show all this hate mail and then all of a sudden turn around and be like, oh, "Can you believe it?" You know what I mean?
Well, she baked him banana bread for Dan.
With chocolate chips, the way he likes it. But I still think that it's still a little. It is a little bit of a red flag to not show any concern.
All right, wait.
In between 2012 and 2014, how many times did you come to visit your family in South Florida?
2012 and 2014. My daughter was born in October of 2012. And so I think my dad's birthday there was a Thanksgiving, I think, in 2013. So pretty much Thanksgivings were the times when we would travel, having a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. So
Sure. Okay, so Thanksgiving of 2013 and then your dad's birthday in 2014.
yeah, there could have been one other one, but I remember those 2 for certain that I could swear to.
Okay, and when you came for his birthday was on the 5th. You came in on the 4th. The party was on the 5th, and you left on the 6th, correct?
That's my memory of it.
And Thanksgiving, kind of the same thing? I mean, you got a job you got to get back to, right?
Yeah, yep.
Okay. And how frequent were the phone calls that you were having with your family?
Probably less than once a week, maybe every other week, something like that.
And when I say family, I think I'm referring to Donna.
Sure.
Okay. Now, you were here on the 5th for your dad's birthday. You said you went home on the 6th.
Yep.
And Danny Markell was brutally murdered on July the 18th of 2014. That was in the summer.
Correct.
Recall that?
Yes.
And when did you arrive in Florida to be with your family?
I didn't.
Okay, thank you. You had mentioned in your direct testimony that your mom called and said you shouldn't talk to the police. Do you recall that?
Yeah, I do, yes.
What actually happened was a family friend, Michael Weinstein, you know him, correct?
I do, yeah.
Your mom indicated that he had called and advised that as a family friend and an attorney that you all should not talk to the police. That's what she told you, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. I don't have anything further.
Interesting.
Yeah, that doesn't change my mind about anything, though. I mean, yeah, sure. And we all know who Michael Weinstein is. He's the son of Peter Weinstein, godfather to Wendi. Yes, a Jew can have a godfather. I've proved that. It's uncommon, but yeah, Michael Weinstein was. I could totally see him saying, "Don't talk to the police."
That's
yeah, totally different.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, I like that one, but
Right.
I don't agree. Donna is not guilty, though, Mark. But yeah,
Donna
Alan
should have
Jackson
just
is
hired-
one heck of an attorney. That's for sure. All right, guys. So just real quick before we go, my reasons that Donna is going to be what I feel she will be convicted of murder. Her hatred for Danny and the Markells in emails. It was pointed out that she had been talking about her hatred for Ruth and Phil long before the murder, pushing Wendi to relocate to Miami, even though the judge denied it with prejudice. Talked about the $1 million offer to Dan to change his mind. The scheduled Geek Squad appointment to fix the TV. The same TV commonly known as a divorce present because it was cheaper than getting a hitman. The money drop, huge for me. Phone records place her there the night of the murder. She also laundered the money, attempting to cover her tracks. Wiretap calls showing her control over Wendi and other men even after the murder. Big one here, 44 checks signed by Donna Adelson to pay Katie McBanoa, who never worked at the Adelson Institute.
44 checks.
Sarah Yusuf's upcoming expected testimony, which should be very soon, this week or next week, where she's going to say that Donna said things in the kitchen. I won't go into major detail, but Donna said stuff that was real cold-hearted about Dan, about his death. Called to Charlie immediately after the bump, okay, where she identifies the situation as being about us, meaning Charlie and me, okay? And then she says, this TV is going to cost $5, okay? She also said going to the police was not a good idea. If you were innocent and you didn't do anything, you'd be like, some guy walked up to me on the street and gave me this envelope. We need to call the police. Not going to do that because you're guilty of sin.
Well, Charlie told her not to call. Wasn't it Charlie told her not to call?
No. She was the one who said that calling the police was not a good idea. Now, maybe he said that too, but I know she said it. Wendi's interview, which mentions Charlie, but also said it could be her family, and that how much my family hated Dan Markel. Financial dealings to secure a property in Vietnam through Charlie and Harvey. Searching which countries have extradition treaties, and then a one-way ticket attempt to flee to Vietnam. Now, this list was made prior to today, and now I have more because it was stuff today that I didn't even know about. So now I'm going to add that to my list and do a section on that. Let's see what we got here. The fact that Wendi did not tell her parents the relocation was dismissed with prejudice was my biggest takeaway today. Yes, it proved to me Wendi manipulated her parents. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to say on that too, Spencer, is that her mom kept on sending her those hate emails and she never responded to those emails. Like, I just think that she was kind of over it. So, and I think and honestly, her mom is so, one, manipulative, and two, so into her life and telling her what to do that she probably just didn't want to hear it from her.
Yeah.
Like, I decided I'm going to stay. She probably just wanted to hear her mom, yelling at her like, what do you mean? You have this in the bag. All you have to do is this and whatever. So
Mark has a question here and I'm going to answer it because I don't know if you know Mark, but that can change because a lot of times it does, but she has already announced that she plans to testify. Now she might, based on the questioning that happened before the trial started, when they were doing jury selection for this trial, the defense attorney went and asked specific jurors questions. And one of the questions was, would you hold it against her if she didn't testify? And this is after it's been made known that Donna has declared she will testify. So it's always possible that she won't. But just so you know, she, as of right now, plans to testify. So you might have your dream come true there. So
I know.
Yeah, that's
going to be a good day.
Anyway, so guys, I am thankful that you guys joined us on our episode tonight. I hope that you found it informative. I took lots of good notes. I was pretty proud of that.
Yeah, we want to go on tomorrow night.
Yep, we're going to go on tomorrow night.
Who's on for tomorrow? We don't know yet.
Jeff Lacasse is probably the first one tomorrow. That's what they're saying. So
my favorite.
That should be an interesting one. I'm doing this on purpose, because I've already had somebody say, you got a crush on Jeff Lacasse. I do not have a crush on Jeff Lacasse. I'm a married lady. I do not have a crush on Jeff Lacasse.
Nobody has a crush on Jeff Lacasse.
No, he's cute. No, I'm not going to lie. I think he's cute. I don't know what he looks like now, but
you do have a crush.
He is I'm very impressed with his intelligence and the way he delivered his testimony, and I find him so, 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 so credible. And I will be on for lunch break tomorrow. Did you listen to my lunch break today?
Only for a little bit, because I wanted to get back to, because for some reason it came on between 12 and 1 for me.
Yeah.
And they broke at 1 to 2 for me. So I wanted to go back to the trial.
Yeah. I was they went on lunch break, and I was late getting into the studio here to get it going. So I was 10 minutes late.
Okay. So
but that's okay.
I only watched you for maybe 10 minutes. So maybe it kind of overlapped a little bit.
Joan, you're going to have your popcorn tomorrow, girl? What am I going to eat tomorrow for the trial? I'll have my coffee in the morning. Hey, so I went to if you guys got a Trader Joe's, there's this stuff called cookie butter. I've been putting a spoonful of that sucker in my coffee in the morning with and mixing it together like a frothy thing with milk. It's so good. Try it.
Oh, no.
Tomorrow, I'm going to bring the cookie butter jar in here. So when you guys are on tomorrow, I'll show you the label so you guys can see it. Spencer says, my understanding why she had it was dismissed with prejudice because she was leading her parents to believe the relocation denial wasn't final. Right, because she wanted them to be pissed. She didn't want them to stop. I think she was encouraging this, and that's what the whole point of that was, I believe. To show just how she was encouraging her family to rally together and do something. Which hurts Donna also.
It was really just Donna. Donna was the only one that was on her and berating her all the time and sending these erratic emails.
Mm-hmm. Right, but it was Jackie Fulford, Donna's attorney, that pulled that out of Wendi, and that does reflect bad on Donna too. So I was surprised she said it. You know what I mean? More.
I think she was defending Donna. I think Jackie was defending Donna in the sense of she was just doing. If anything, she really did point the finger at Wendi by showing this is your mom. She's being so supportive. She wants you. She's trying to. She's trying to get you to do certain things so that you can relocate. She wants she's trying to help you relocate, and then the fact that you don't tell her, you just keep her upset, and in a sense, keeping her upset about the whole.
Gotcha.
Thing.
I gotcha.
And you, as a lawyer, how do you not say that to her that it's a final thing, Mom? No, there's no more to it. Because Wendi did tell her that it was that what she did, but she just didn't explain what that meant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So, but according to Wendi, she was like, "Oh, I forgot."
I think anything to deter off of Donna is the whole point of that. Even though it didn't really help Donna 100%, it still kind of pointed to her family. They just wanted to get them looking at somebody else. And that's why they flipped the script. And Jackie Fulford was kind of slick with that.
Yeah, I think
it was kind of slick. Yeah. Okay. So we love you guys. We love our viewers. Go ahead.
There was something I wanted to ask you.
Me? Me or them?
Well, about the situation. Hold on.
Oh.
Did Wendi say too?
What?
Oh, did she say on the phone with Rob, did she say that he died or that he was in the hospital?
I have
I
it.
don't
Hold on.
remember.
You don't remember? I did go through this. Hold on, Rob.
Because he died 14 hours later of the assault.
Hold
So, I
on,
mean,
hold on.
she-
Let me get it. I don't want to say the wrong thing here.
Right. Well, I'm just saying that she had to say that he was in the hospital.
Right.
Oh no, maybe
I have
that he
information
died.
to overload. Okay, hold on.
Does anybody else remember?
I know what it is. Give me a second.
I know.
That's what she had asked me before. I had it up here, and now my notes are all mixed up here. I want to make sure I get that right. Okay, we'll answer the question next time.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So, we love you guys. Subscribe, like, and share right now. Give us a thumbs up.
And we'll be on tomorrow. Same time.
Yeah, lunch at noon, and then same time, 8:00 Eastern time tomorrow.
Yes.
We will see you then. Love you, girl.
Bye,
Okay.
you too.
Bye.
Bye, beautiful.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the hosts and guests. All individuals mentioned are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Okay.